Hello, America, FBI and CIA agents, and fellow cult members. Welcome to Culture Club USA. I am DiBRAVA. On today's episode of Crime and Culture Unfiltered, we dive into the dark world of sugar daddy websites and a predatory criminal who used their promise of easy money and a jet-set lifestyle to lure women into his iniquitous world of deviant crimes. Let's dive in.
He methodically carried out what was clearly pre-planned crimes with the sole purpose of satisfying his deviant sexual desire.
A construction worker from Pennsylvania, he's accused of drugging and raping women, targeting them using a website promising women a sugar daddy. And the DA believes there are more victims out there.
This is a woman's worst nightmare, a young woman's worst nightmare.
Welcome to Crime Fix. I'm Anjanette Levy. When the DA in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, calls this case and the allegations being made against Andrew Gallo a woman's worst nightmare, she is 100% right.
Okay, first of all, before we go any further here, okay, I'm sure what's about to unfold here is quite horrific, okay? But we have to be honest here, all right? We cannot expect one to go on a website which a female is looking for a sugar daddy, okay? And expect not to have some sort of repercussions here. So basically, what is the difference with like sugar daddy websites and prostitution websites or OnlyFans? What's the difference? Is there? They don't make it very clear. It's like, what man would want a girl that is solely after his money? Because that's what a sugar daddy website is. It's a bunch of females that are looking for rich, older guys. Do you know any rich, older guys that want a female that's solely after their money? I mean, think about it. Does this make sense? So what is that website about? Is it an escort service? Is it a girlfriend experience? Is a girlfriend experience actually an escort service? And are all those things prostitution? Or is there such thing as a wealthy older man, okay, that's interested in a young girl who wants to take all his money? Doesn't really make sense, right? It's not like Match.com. You know what I mean?
The allegations in this case are terrifying. Andrew Gallo lived outside of Philadelphia. District Attorney Jen Shorn says Gallo was meeting women on a site called sugardaddymeet.com and inviting them to his house to drug and rape them. You might be asking yourself, what's sugardaddymeet.com? Never heard of that one? I hadn't heard of it either until reading about this case. The site bills itself as a sugar daddy dating website. Sugardaddymeet.com claims it has 8.2 million selective members. It asks the question to men: are you a successful, generous man looking for an honest relationship? And
an honest relationship? Right off the bat, we're starting with money. How could this be an honest relationship? How? This doesn't even make sense. And look at what it says. Meet verified sugar babies now. What is a verified sugar baby? A prostitute? What is a verified sugar baby? I mean, come on. What kind of man is doing this and what kind of female is doing this? Okay? You're both not looking too good right now to me.
And to women, are you an attractive, classy woman looking for a mentor? The site also...
A mentor? I had to bring this back. An attractive, classy woman looking for a mentor? Class? So now women that are after men's money and call themselves sugar babies have class? I mean, I'm thinking more Jersey Shore, like Snooki or whoever. I mean, this is class? Hello? I mean, this is classless. This is everything that doesn't constitute class. This is gross.
Looking for a mentor. The site also says it's a location for generous men and attractive women looking to form honest relationships. But the DA says these were not honest relationships. DA Shorn says Andrew Gallo started contacting women on Sugar Daddy Meet in June of 2023, and the women would go to his house for dates. And
Okay, ladies, I want to know, any of you out here going on a website and just showing up to a man's house? I mean, what happened to like a steak dinner? You know, I mean, how about Ruth Chris? You know what I'm saying? You're just going to show up to a man's house that you never met before? Come on. This is a prostitution site, okay? This is a prostitution site. It's basically men saying, I have money. I want to fulfill something. I'm going to pay you X amount. We're doing it through this site so we can legally do it. This is my address. I expect you to be here at this time. When you're done, you will leave. I will pay you. I mean, come on.
Affidavit says victim 1 went to Gallo's house in Levittown last Christmas Eve. The affidavit says CV1, that's how she's identified, states that when she got to Gallo's residence, it was only her, Gallo, and his dog there. CV1 reported that Gallo made her a drink in the kitchen, which she did not witness him making, and she was playing with the dog.
Well, first of all, okay, it's Christmas Eve, okay? Clearly, he's not a Catholic or a Christian. Okay, you're home alone with your dog on Christmas Eve. Where's your family? Something's not right here with this man off the bat. I mean, unless you're getting a quick thing going and then you're going down to the, you know, the family get together, you know, the Christmas Eve dinner like my family does. I mean, are you nuts? You're showing up to a man's house on Christmas Eve and then you're allowing him to make you a drink and you're drinking it in his house. I mean, look, this is a lifestyle. This is prostitution. This lifestyle, this choice, this path. There are consequences to it, okay? There's no difference than walking down the Vegas Strip with a pimp. There's no difference. There's still a possibility you're going to get raped, you're going to get drugged, you're going to get abducted, you're going to get killed, you're going to get slashed. There's no difference. There's no difference as a male, you calling a prostitute that she's going to drug you, steal your money, okay, drag you to, you know, some other location, have a bunch of, you know what, do other things to you, tape it, use it as blackmail. I mean, nothing good comes out of this, okay? Nothing.
CV1 then advises that she does not drink often, so she was unsure what type of drink he made, but described the drink as having a sugar rim. The woman, according to the affidavit,
what is that, a requirement on Sugar Baby for Sugar Baby websites that you have a sugary drink with a sugar rim? I don't drink often. Like, lady, you're on a website called Sugar Babies whatever, and you showed up to a man's house that you never met on Christmas Eve, and you're drinking something he made you, which is liquor, which you clearly knew was liquor, and you intended on getting drunk so that you could get through doing whatever you had to do. I'm not stupid. I wasn't born yesterday, get it? To make that money. Shame on you, girl.
She didn't sleep that night, and she felt both energetic and cool. She also said that she and Gallo had sex and that he choked her so much that her airflow was restricted and she had to tell him to stop. She then took a drug test for a job she was applying for, and it came up positive for both meth and cocaine.
Oh, okay, people, meth now? What happened to like the date, you know what, EPAR drug? Like, what happened to just a little something to get you, like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, this is crazy. We're drugging people with meth and cocaine now. Like, girls, you got to, you know, women, there is no easy way out, okay? There is no such thing as a get-rich-quick scheme, okay? There's no such thing as, I'm so beautiful, I'm just going to get money from men and give them nothing. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. Now, the sad thing about this is that in the economy we're in, which is bad, thank you, Biden, all right? Listen, this economy, what is going to happen? You're going to see a lot more of this because there's going to be a lot more desperate girls out here looking for quick cash. This is dangerous.
Here's the DA on more of what happened to this woman and other victims.
He ultimately raped 5 of the 6 victims. While sexually assaulting those 6 victims, he also physically assaulted those victims. He used such force in strangling his victims that some lost consciousness. These victims suffered such ill effects from the drugs that they unknowingly ingested that some reported being up for days. One said she was up for 7 straight days, unable to fall asleep. A number of them sought medical attention due to the severity of the side effects of the drugs that they unknowingly ingested. Some reported experiencing hallucinations and psychosis.
I'll have more on the drugs that the DA says police found in Gallo's home, but she said last month police actually went to Gallo's home with a search warrant and caught him in the act.
You gotta be kidding me. Yeah, what kind of luck is that? You gotta be kidding me. Well, actually, no, actually, it makes sense. Think about it. If he's done this to X amount, he's probably doing this constantly. It's an addiction, okay? This is why you can't make sense of a website that's going to promise you a rich man, okay? I mean, this isn't even like a millionaire matchmaker, whatever that thing was. This isn't even that. This is a website. So there's no accountability here, okay? The website isn't coming to look for you, girl. And they're not vetting out these men. It's not like an actual matchmaker who vets these people. They know their address. They know, you get what I'm saying? They know where you're going. What's the date? They can show up. Something happens. There's accountability there. That's bad enough as it is. But this is like nuts. They caught him in the act? Oh, God.
They executed a search warrant not too long ago, and clearly the defendant was unaware that they would be arriving at his home. And not only did they find an open bottle of alcohol that contained methamphetamine mixed within, but they actually found a victim being victimized when they arrived. Their work is not done, though, because we are quite confident that there are more victims in this case.
Can you imagine? That woman is incredibly lucky that police arrived when they did. Another woman, identified as CV2 in the affidavit, described Gallo giving her a glass of wine in the summer of 2023. And about 45 minutes later, she said she felt like all of her inhibitions were gone and that she was aroused. CV2, according to the...
Okay, where? Again, where? He gave you a glass of wine where? Where? And you drank a glass of wine, you became aroused, and all your inhibitions were gone? I mean, hello, where? In his house? What were you doing there? I just don't understand this mentality. I don't get it. This is how crime affects culture and culture affects crime. Because women today think that they can have absolutely no value and just run out and get men's money just because. Like, what did you think that you were going to do there? Nothing? Were you going to just have conversation? You're drinking alcohol, first of all. You're putting yourself in a bad place right there, whether it's laced with anything or not. And what exactly are you doing? So you met him, you're going to his house, and you're going to meet some, sugar daddy and do nothing but get rich. He's just going to give you money to do nothing, right? No, I'm going to go with no. I'm going to go with this is a call girl prostitution site that is using narratives to work around having to go to Nevada. Get it?
CV2, according to the document, said Gallo asked her to put on lingerie that he had bought for his ex-girlfriend and that he introduced sex toys into their encounter. The document said CV2 later asked Gallo if he had drugged her because she hadn't felt that way in the past after drinking wine. The woman told police that Gallo said he had forgotten that he had put Molly in the bottle of wine.
Methamphetamine.
You forgot you put Molly in a bottle of wine. Well, luckily Grandma wasn't visiting on a Sunday afternoon after church for a nice glass of red wine. Because Lord only knows what she would have done to you. I mean, are you nuts? Is that even believable? No.
Methamphetamine was one of the substances found in his home in that open bottle of tainted liquor. We do believe, though, other substances such as MDMA often referred to as Molly, and other substances were perhaps administered to these victims. And, obviously this investigation is still unfolding as it relates to that.
Now, CV2 said she went camping with Gallo in October of last year. The police officer wrote in the affidavit, he tried to choke her while they were having sex, placing his hand around her throat and squeezing, trying to make her pass out. CV2 stated she tried to fight against the choking, telling Gallo she was scared to pass out and did not want to be choked. The officer said Gallo told the woman that's how it works, and that she was supposed to pass out because that was the fun in it. Other women described similar interactions with Gallo.
Some describe that he was literally having intercourse with them so violently and choking them that they would clearly indicate they wanted it to stop and that they were terrified, and he disregarded that. Some would describe that like involuntary movements, like one victim said her jaw was constantly going back and forth, based on, drugs. And some of these women never touched an illegal substance in their life.
No, but you touched your computer and went on a website looking for sugar daddies. Okay? So I don't believe you there. You're a liar, probably. You never touched an illegal substance. Okay, but you're on a website or you're on Google searching for a website to find a sugar daddy. And you showed up and went camping with a man. I mean, come on.
And obviously suffered terrible ill effects.
Andrew Gallo faces several charges, including 5 counts of rape causing impairment, 6 counts of possession with intent to deliver a controlled substance, 4 counts of strangulation, and corruption of minors. The victims in this case range in age from 17 to 30, and a lot of what is in the affidavit.
17 to 30. Where are these parents of these 17-year-olds? Who raised you? Oh, I know. The internet. That's who. Your iPad. That's what raised these kids. And 17 is not really a kid, but you're underage. What kind of family do you come from? That you would go on a website looking for a sugar daddy at the young age of 17 when you have everything to look forward to. When you can easily just go find a really nice guy and make a life for yourself and have a family or whatever. I mean, you could even go find someone rich. You don't have to do it by prostituting yourself, because that's what it is, okay? You're going on a website for sugar daddies. That's a prostitute. Now, I'm not saying what he's doing is even remotely acceptable. He's a disgusting, I don't even know how to describe him. He's scum of the earth. He's gross. He's disgusting. Because how dare you take advantage of these women like this? But still, they're both at fault.
Is incredibly graphic. The DA says Gallo used the screen name Drewster420 on SugarDaddyMeat.com. The women described to police really rough sex. Some had bruising from being choked, and one woman, who advertised herself as 19 when she was actually 17, quoted Gallo as telling her that she was going to receive a punishment. The teenage girl said that Gallo gave her a lot of tequila. 15 shots is what she said.
15 shots? My God, that's like lethal, I would think.
And that he slapped and choked her. The teen described his home as having a lot of lingerie in it. The affidavit says she went to the hospital and later tested positive for methamphetamine and amphetamine, those are both stimulants, and THC. And the DA said she believes there are more victims who haven't reported their interactions with Gallo.
The victims in this case are so courageous. They came forward to report crimes that, quite frankly, predators like this assume the victims won't have the strength to do so. And I commend them for their strength and courage. I commend the 2 that initially reported this case and each and every one thereafter that disclosed their victimization to the police.
The DA described the level of cooperation that her office received from MeetSugarDaddy.com.
And they were not very cooperative and gave us the bare minimum and not specifically what we asked for. And it's not lost on me that these platforms know that they're inviting dangerous things to unfold. We do find some social media platforms very cooperative with law enforcement. I would state unequivocally that Sugar Daddy was not one of those platforms.
Well, duh. I mean, wow, that's big. You know, that's a big shocker. It's a big shocker because it's a prostitution website. So is OnlyFans. So is all these things. You're not gonna, you know, you're not gonna get rich quick. You're not gonna find a man that's gonna hand off all his money to you just because you're cute and you sat by next to him on the couch and had conversation for an hour. It doesn't work that way.
Okay. If there are no further questions, thank you for your time.
Now, I mentioned earlier that I had never heard of meetsugardaddy.com, but you might remember Backpage.com. The feds shut it down because it was a place where sex trafficking was rampant. The DA was asked about whether meetsugardaddy.com is committing a crime by not cooperating with law enforcement.
I remember back in the trafficking cases when other states' attorney general's offices shut down Backpage, which was commonly hosting human trafficking cases, I mean, you know, sexual crimes, and unfortunately it just drove predators to other more obscure sites. So it's hard to say, but right now our focus is identifying more victims of Andrew Gallo, but also certainly putting on blast how dangerous platforms are like this.
John.
And how about reprimanding the women that go on them? How about we start teaching ladies some morals and dignity and self-respect? How about that? Okay. The thing that I don't respect here with the news and all this nonsense is that they never call out the women for bad behavior. And that needs to be done.
Clune is a civil sexual assault attorney. He's also a former sex crimes prosecutor. John, your thoughts on this case? I was kind of shocked when I was reading the documents.
Yeah, it's one of the more disturbing cases. A couple of reasons. I think it's one of the more kind of predatory series of facts that we've seen on this type of a case. Also, the thing that comes to mind with these sugar daddy platforms is they are attracting some of the most vulnerable people in our community, and that really is a setup for a disaster like this.
Yeah, the whole sugar daddy thing. I mean, these are supposed to be older men who, I guess, they're calling them mentors. I'm not sure I would call it that, but I thought a sugar daddy was somebody who provided kind of money and things of that nature and gifts to women who would provide companionship. And this is like, my God, this is like, the allegations here are just blatant sexual assault and practically torture with the choking. This whole sugar daddy thing, I mean, is that just a modern day euphemism for sex work?
It's exactly what it is. I mean, this is essentially, you know, prostitution. If you
Thank God, somebody with a brain. And I give her some credit too, okay? Because look, before I let him continue, and I'll bring it back a little bit, okay? Look, what she's saying is this. Okay, fine. You want to be a guy that wants a hot, you know, young, beautiful women, you know, girl, right? And has to do nothing but look good and be a showpiece. And you want to splurge, and she'll give you companionship and, you know, a relationship, because physical is definitely coming along with that. Don't be fooled, okay? And you provide her with lots of money and things, and that's what she likes. That's fine. That doesn't mean that you have the authority to sexually assault these people. That's disgusting, okay? But the thing is this, when you delve into, okay, the devil's playground, this is what you get. This is what you get. What did you expect? This is a scene that is heartless, emotionless, no morals, okay? Nothing. So what do you expect? Anything goes, okay? Now I'll let him continue.
It's exactly what it is. I mean, this is essentially, you know, prostitution. If you ask the platforms their take on this, they're saying, hey, we're just making the introductions. What happens thereafter is something that's out of our control. What they're really doing is facilitating prostitution. In the cases of these underage kids, which is very common on these platforms, it's really child sex trafficking.
How prolific are these sugar daddy websites? I mean, I've heard about sugar daddies, women getting sugar daddies. I mean, are these things cropping up all over the place?
Yeah, they're worldwide, and they're a significantly lucrative business. They make millions and millions of dollars a month. largely just from fees for subscribing to their sites. So it's a dark side of the if you can call it the dating app world. They're not exactly dating apps, but they're similar to that. But they are unfortunately incredibly successful financially.
The DA in this case, Jen Shorn, said that basically, they usually get some good cooperation from some social media platforms. SugarDaddyMeet.com, not so much. They were not cooperative. She almost likened this in some ways to Backpage, which was shut down years ago by the feds. So, I mean, they're not cooperating, or they don't want to cooperate, but sometimes they are going to have to produce information. Are we going to maybe see an effort to shut down websites like this? Because this seems like a brave new world, and that it's going to be incredibly dangerous for these women. Thank God that they didn't die, that they survived.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see the Department of Justice step in here. It seems like it's a harder thing for them to do for Backpage, because what's being advertised isn't purely sex work. It is really for these introductions. But I think there's enough that goes on with these sugar daddy websites that there is a close enough analogy to Backpage that I'm sure the DOJ looks at this and they're looking for opportunities to be able to step in.
Now, look. We all know where this went, okay? Now, clearly he's in a whole lot of trouble, this guy, all right? But here's the thing. This is where I'm going to end this, okay? Again, you have to blame both sides here, okay? We cannot really call these women victims totally, okay? Because there's no such thing as a website that finds you a rich man that's going to just pay your way through life without doing anything for him. Okay. You know darn well that when you go onto a website called Sugar Daddy whatever, okay, that there is going to be sex involved. There's going to be sex involved, which means if you are going on a website and there's sex involved and you're getting paid for it, you're a prostitute. I hope you guys stuck with me on this episode of Crime and Culture Unfiltered, because again, this is a prime example of how crime affects culture and culture affects crime. I'm DiBRAVA. See you next time.